Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Trading Made Easy right here on YouTube. I am certainly glad that you found yourself here. Woo! Let me tell you, lots of things are going on in these financial streets, right? And I certainly hope that you all are taking advantage of it and capitalizing from all of the volatility, I'm sorry, that's taking place. So today what I'm going to be sharing with you is my breakdown of the dollar and what the dollar is doing. And I'm certainly going to show you different things that I'm looking at and how we kind of bring it all together to get what confluence, to get confirmation. So much is going on that's impacting the dollar today, right? And with that, it brings opportunity. As traders, whether the value of the dollar is increase or decrease, it really doesn't matter to us from that standpoint because as traders, we're able to capitalize on both directions. However, you do need to know what you're looking at and you need to be able to position yourself properly in order to take advantage of that. So today we're going to be talking about the dollar and I'm going to start with the DXY, right? We want to see what is the dollar doing? What is the dollar doing? Sometimes I kind of feel like a surgeon, right? Like a surgeon going in, diagnosing the situation, and providing a remedy, a solution to the problem. But we first have to be able to identify it, right? We have to see what's actually going on. And that's what we're doing when we look at the DXY. So, with that being said, let me share my screen. Make sure I'm not on the DXY. Nope, I'm not. Oh, yeah, I am. I am. I am. I am. Okay, where am I? There we go. Alrighty, so on the DXY on TradingView, and let me just say this: if you do not have TradingView, I do totally recommend that you get TradingView. It's a universal platform. It's not subjected to manipulation from brokers, right? Because it's universal. The only thing you can't do is trade on here, but you can certainly analyze on here. Lots of bells and whistles, lots of tools that you can use to help to analyze the market properly. I totally recommend it. There's a free version, of course, and then there's a paid version. I mean, I'm not plugging it, for my gain or whatever. I just think that it's a really, really great value to you to have it. Now, I do recommend having the alerts option, which does include an upgrade, and you can, look at the 1099, 1599, something like that. But nevertheless, I digress. Trading view, right? So we're looking at the dollar, right? So let me start with what the daily. I like to go on the higher time frame. Oh, lots going on. Let me clean that up real quick. Okay. So we're here. We're here. So clearly, what do we see? What do we see? We see the dollar doing what? Falling, falling, right? And as a trader, hey, all good for us, right? No problem. No problem because we know what we're going to do, right? What we're going to do. Now, like I said, we have the benefit of buying and selling simultaneously as a trader. So though we know that the dollar overall is weakening, and that's simply because of all of the things that's going on in the world and in our country in particular, that's weakening the dollar, right? The vaccine, there's a lot of uncertainty about this vaccine that impacts the dollar, weaken the dollar. Investors are skeptical. They're like, okay, what's going to happen? Maybe I better hold on. I'm not going to, put too much into the market. Let's see what's happening from the stock market standpoint as well. Every financial entity is having some type of effect from the vaccine, whether they're for it or against it, right? And we certainly see that show up on the charts. Then you have the stimulus package that's still in negotiations. And so the more money that you pump into the market, the more you put into the market, the weaker the dollar gets. The weaker the dollar gets. It's like if you have a surplus of a thing, it loses the value, right? Think of it like this. If you sell, iPhones, anything. If you sell pots and pans, you have a certain, brand of these particular pots or pans, or you have, the iPhone 7 or 8 or whatever, but you have a surplus of the merchandise on your shelf. Like there's a lot still there, and nobody's really like buying it at top shelf price because why? You have a surplus. So how do you get rid of it? How do you sell it and still make a profit, a marginal profit, right? How do you do that? You have to what? Lower the price. You have to lower the price. And when you lower the price, guess what? Now you're going to do what? You're going to entice buyers to come in and buy those pots and pans. Now it's enticing. Now I'm interested. I'm more interested, right? You may be the type of shopper. Sometimes I do this too when I'm shopping. I am got my eye on a certain item. I may not want to pay the top shelf price at that time. Don't have a serious need for it at the moment, so that I can wait, right? And my thought is that, hey, I'll come back next week or, a couple of days later to see what if they drop the price, if they drop the price. So it's the same thing. When you drop that price, guess what? Buyers are going to come into the market. And that's what we're seeing with the dollar because there is a surplus. We just went through the previous stimulus package, X amount of what, trillions of dollars was pumped into the market. There were also other bailouts that took place in the banking system. The airlines was bailed out, over the summer months as a result of the pandemic. So a lot of money has been pumped into the market. And as a result of the surplus of money, it weakened the dollar. And that's why you see declines. Now, what goes up must come down, right? What goes up must come down. So in Forex, of course, when we read the charts and things like that, whenever you have a direction that's just going straight down, at some point there has to be a breather. At some point there has to be a pause and a what we call retracement. But that doesn't mean the overall direction of the market at that time isn't still, selling or isn't still buying. In this case, it's definitely the dollar is weakened. Though we have peaks and valleys, as you can see, where the overall it is weak, right? Overall is in a downtrend, right? But within that, we still have peaks and valleys, because price don't just fall straight to the ground nonstop or go straight up to the sky nonstop. There has to be a point where price stops, backs up, meaning retracement, and then it rallies back down in the direction that it ultimately wants to go anyway. So keep that in mind as well. So we are certainly in a downtrend with the dollar. Now, what I do is, and sometimes when I do not make it a practice to like watch my videos because I tend to feel like, oh, maybe I should have said that. Oh, maybe I should have elaborated here. And I just can't be bothered with that. I do the best I can, and I let it roll. Nobody's perfect, and a lot of times we might find ourselves in that place where we're striving for perfection, and it just doesn't exist, right? So I don't make it a practice of going back watching. Sometimes I do, but it's not overall a practice that I do that. But I don't know why I even said that. See, this is just raw and uncut. I lost my train of thought. There was a point I was trying to make. about that. But I lost my train of thought, guys. This is a real human moment right here. Real human moment. So let's get back to the training and hopefully it'll pop back up in my head. So nevertheless, what I do is on the daily, what I do is identify the trend and then I'm looking left, right? I'm looking left to see if we have um, other areas where price, identifying support and resistance, basically, right? So I'm looking for structure. Okay, so I have structure right here, which is why I put this horizontal line right here, and it coincides with where price is right now. Right, we went down a little bit beyond that, but for the most part, we're right at this structural area. We're right at this structural area, and what I also like to do is just kind of box that in. So basically, what I'm doing when I do this is I'm just identifying support and resistance. That's all I'm doing. It never fails, guys. I do apologize. But that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing, right? So we have a touch on the line right there for that support line right here. And we definitely have some action right in this area as well on the daily. Okay. Now, it's not necessary to go too far back. I don't. But sometimes I get curious just to see how strong the area is because the more structure around your support and resistance lines just gives you a more stronger sense of that particular price point, right? And so as you can see here, we definitely reacted from our support line here. We reacted on support line here. It became resistance right here. So yeah, this is good. Resistance right here, resistance right there. So definitely, this is a bona fide what? Support and resistance. Okay. Now, the reason that this is important is because you want to always be able to identify how far price can potentially go, right? Because it was here and it was here on the 2018 it was here. So that was about 2 years ago. Just because it's 2 years don't mean that it won't revisit or retest that area. So this is just something you want to keep in mind. But what we do know is that at this point right here, that's where the structure, we had that first structural area, price will likely react from that area. So if price is going down and we hit support, what happens? Price goes back up. It goes back up, right? And then, of course, I use my MACD as well to confirm. See, I didn't start with the MACD. I didn't start with the indicator. I started with price, right? Identifying what's going on so that we can get enough information to provide direction, guidance, a solution, right? Like how we going into this trade, that kind of thing. So now that I've done that, we got a nice little downtrend going on right here. We at a level of support. This is a key level of support on the higher time frame. That's very important. Then my MACD is confirming what? Is confirming this downtrend. You see this move down, right? So if I put my cursor right here, it coincides. Look at price in relation to the my cursor, and you see that as the line went down, price is going down. Look at price going down, going down. Now, what's interesting and what I look at on the MACD is I'm looking now because I'm at a key level, so I'm looking for price to do what? Pull back. And I want some indication. I want some indication on my MACD that is wanting to do that as well. So on the MACD, let me stretch this out for you. You see on the MACD the histogram, right? You have varying lighter and darker shades of red, lighter and darker shades of green. So the lighter shade of red signifies weakness, right? In that down move, in that particular candle. Not as strong, it's weakening. The lighter colors mean is weakening. The darker colors means it's a stronger move, right? Stronger momentum going on with that, with those candles, with that particular candle. So right now, also, if I'm looking for a pullback, if I'm looking for a buy, I need for price to be at a low point because why? We buy low and we sell high. Just basic Economics 101, right? We buy low, we sell high. So if I'm looking to buy the dollar, right, I need indication that it's ready for a turnaround. And one of those indications is that on the MACD, my moving average line need to be low. I need to be coming from a downward move. I need to be coming from a downward move. So I'll give you another example of that, right? Give you another example of that. So if we look here, for instance, we came, see how price came down, and now we're at a point here where we should be looking for what? A buy, right? And is at the low, buy low. So we're right here. Now, as we move up this line, look at price. Where's price going? Where's price going? Yeah, you have the little peaks, the little pullbacks, but overall, where's price going? Because on the MACD, as long as you are you buy from the low and the line is moving up and it is not inside or riding along inside of your histogram, you're still in a nice buy despite the little peaks and valleys that price does. So keep that in mind. And another thing you want to keep in mind is that when you have space from your moving average and from your histogram, that is great. That's what we look for. We want the disconnection. We want the moving average to break away from the histogram and start rallying up. And so from this point right here, that puts me right there. That's just what happened. And so right at this point here, it moved up to that point right there, right in here. Remember, this is a daily, so each candle is a day. Lots of volume, right? Even though these candles may look small, there's a lot in here. And as you can see, that's what, like 129, 125 pips. Yeah, because you put the decimal point between the last two numbers. Yeah, 125 pips. No. This is a daily, so that's actually 1,259 pips. Yeah, 1,259 pips on a daily candle. Yeah. So that's what that is. So give you an example of how that works. So now we're back in a situation similar to this one, right? So that's what's forming now. You see the nice little curve. Now, what are we looking for? We're looking on the MACD. We're looking for our moving average line to break away from the histogram. It's still on the histogram. It's still on the histogram. And not only that, look at the color. It is the darker version of red. So what does that mean? That means we still have some strong selling pressure going on. This is how you protect yourself as well from entering into the market too soon. Because trust me, if you are losing consistently more than you're winning in the market, I guarantee you it's your entry. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. It's your entry. And the reason your entry is off could be a couple of reasons why. One, you don't really got a full understanding of the process, right? Or you just ignoring it. You know what to do, but you just ignoring it because what? You have that fear missing out. So you jumping in because you think it's going to do this and you don't want to miss that move. It's that. It's that. But the indications, the indicator here that I use, the trading plan that I use, what I really love about my trading plan is that there's a lot of safeguards in my trading plan to prevent me from entering into the market too soon. That's the real golden nugget about the Trading Made Easy trading plan. And for those of you that do not have it, you definitely want to access the link, book a one-on-one session so that you can get the trading plan and the tutorial, the teaching of the whole deal, right? Answer your questions and all that good stuff. So right now, we're waiting, but I'm looking for what? I'm looking for a buy. So that's the DXY. That's the DXY. We are in a downtrend. The dollar is weak. The dollar is weak. So now what we want to do is go to the pair. Where's my Forex? And now I want to go to USD JPY, right? That's what I'm looking for, USD JPY. Okay, so if the dollar is weak, let me just make this clear as well. If the dollar is weak, then the USD primary is going to be weak. Whatever is happening on the DXY is happening on the primary USD, meaning USD JPY, USD Chef, and I think what else USD? What else on the USD? Sometimes I be forgetting. USD, I know it's more. USD CAD, yep, USD CAD, all the USD primary, meaning USD is the first currency in the pair. It will be doing the same thing that the DXY is doing. Okay, so that's a little hint, hint, clue, clue. That's why it's good to go to the DXY so that you can get that additional, confirmation of what's happening. Now, of course, we have a phenomenal trading system that gives us this information, whether we look at the DXY or not. But again, I like to focus on price first and use the indicator as your assistant, right? As your assistant. Okay, so USD JPY on the daily, So it's no surprise what direction is price going in on USD JPY. What direction, right? Same direction that it was going in on the DXY. Okay, so we definitely in a downtrend. Remember, price just not going to fall straight to the floor, right? See the peaks? Pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back, right? And these are moves. Now remember, this is the daily, but these are a lot of pips, hundreds and hundreds of pips in these pullbacks, okay? So another thing I always say, and remember this, is what happens on the higher time frame actually is playing out on the lower time frame. It's an expanded view on the lower time frame. So one, bullish candle on the daily is your whole move, on the hour, the 4 hour, the 30 minute, and so on and so forth. Okay, so keep that in mind. Very powerful, very powerful. All right, so we confirm that we're in a downtrend. Now, what are we looking for? Identify structure. That's the next step. Identify the trend, identify structure. So we already know we're in a downtrend, right? Now we want to identify structure. What are we looking for? When I say that, only thing I'm talking about is what? Oops. Support resistance. That's it. That is it. That is it. Identify the trend, identify support and resistance, right? What are we looking for on support resistance? At least 2 touches on the support or resistance line, at least, right? And that's a bona fide support resistance line. So of course we have our touches here, 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 and let's stretch that out for you so that you can see, right? So you see how price came, hit this floor, bounce back, hit this floor, bounce back, so on and so forth. And then what did it do? It broke out. Now, just because it broke out doesn't mean that this is not a bona fide support line. It still is, right? So we always want to consider that. Price will rally back up and react. We don't know yet, but this is a bona fide support line. So we want to go with that, right? And then what I like to do, we got a nice bullish engulfing candle right here. See, here's the other thing, and this is part of developing your eye. That's why you got to study things so you'll know what, you know how to identify certain things, right? So the engulfing candle, here's a strong bullish engulfing candle. What that tells me is there is strong buyers at this area, right? What area is that? 103.141, that price point. Strong buyers came in and just pushed that market. When you see a strong, healthy engulfing candle, it's telling you that there was some force that came in at that price, at around that price area, So what does that mean? Let's put this in practical terms. So as a buyer, one, price got to this point. Remember, you going in the store, you looking at those pots, you looking at, some merchandise, and you're like, you know what? I want it, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until what? till the price dropped some more, right? So when price dropped, and it was a significant drop, right? What happened? Floods of buyers just ransacked the place buying this merchandise because it's at a very, very good price. Same thing happened here. Price came down to this price point here. It was enough for buyers. Buyers said, you know what? No, this price here, this is where we're going. This is where the selling's going to stop and the buying is going to begin. And that's what this big bullish candle signifies, right? That's what it signifies. And because the previous candle, the body of the previous candle can literally fit all inside this candle here, it's a engulfing candle, bullish engulfing candle, right? So what that tells me that this is a very significant area of price. And because this happened here, when price gets back to this point, I'm totally expecting for price to react and push back up. That's my expectation. Now, I'm not a wizard. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict the future, right? I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have the inside skinny. I'm just reading the market, reading patterns, reading history, i.e., back testing, and all of that kind of stuff to surmise basically what I'm saying here today, right? So that's just not based on just, oh, I think. No, you got to do some back testing, some history and things like that, and really see what price, because price repeats itself, right? And then of course have an understanding of how price moves, which is very, very important. And these are some of the things that I teach in the various courses that I have. So again, if you're in need of that tutorial one-on-one, certainly access the calendar and just select the course that you feel that you need. Okay. So that's what we're looking for on the daily. So am I still looking for a buy? Absolutely. This bullish engulfing candle also confirms it, right? And price is not there yet, but if price I'm expecting for price to react around this area. Now, when I say zone, every time that I see an engulfing candle, I like to put a zone on it, right? On the body of the smaller candle. So we're going to go right there. Okay. So that's where price is right now, right? Now let's look at the MACD. We still have this dark version of the red, which tell me there's still some selling pressure there, right? And in addition to that, the moving average line is riding on the inside of my histogram. So what does that tell me? It's not ready yet. See, this is what protects you from getting in the market too early. Is there a great buy potential setting up? Absolutely, but it's setting up. It isn't set up yet. It's not ready to hit the go button yet. It's setting up. So, suppress those urges, because first, listen, you ain't trying to throw your money away, because the market can do something totally different. Totally different. So wait for your criteria to be met before you hit that go button. But at least at this point, we know what we're looking for. Would you agree? We are looking for a buy, right? So that is on the daily. Now, what I like to do is I drop down to my 15-minute. I drop down to my 15-minute. Now, when we have our training, I go through the other ones as well, just to kind of give you insight. But as far as my trading plan and all of that stuff, I drop down to what? To my entry time frame. Now, remember, these are the support and resistance lines that we identified on the daily. Where is that support line? Where is that support line? Right there on structure. Right there on structure. Can't make this up. Cannot make this up. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is nothing more than another confirmation that we are where? At a key level of support. How did we get there? How did we identify it? From the higher time frame, right? Because remember, what's going on the higher time frame is playing out on the lower time frame. So this here should not be a surprise, right? What are we looking for? We're looking for buys. Okay, so let's take a look at our histogram, MACD. Now the red is the lighter version, right? What does that mean? That means that the selling pressure is diminishing. That means that your buyers are starting to gain strength. The only way a seller can momentum can diminish, the only thing that will stop that is that more buying pressure comes in. And if the buying pressure is stronger than the current selling pressure, then of course the selling pressure will be weak, right? So no different, no different, no different. What else do we notice here? We also notice that our moving average line is taking on a nice curve, right? The setup is happening. The setup is happening. Okay. And so um, let's see how long I've been on because I really be trying, guys. I really do. But I love this. I'm passionate about it. But the truth of the matter is that's why I have my training courses because I do. You've noticed that each course have a certain amount of time in the training. And truth be told, I tend to go over like if my student is willing to hang with me, you're definitely going to get more than what you bargained for, right? Because I want to make sure that you have a clear understanding of what's going on. I want to make sure that so I don't really hold myself to the time frame that is identified inside of the description of everything that you'll get. If you can hang, then we're gonna make it happen, right? And then of course it's recorded, so you can always have that for replay. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead on a wrap up. We're looking for buys. I went to the DXY, identify the trend, identify support and resistance, right? When you do that, then you should be able to identify what key levels on the higher time frame, key levels of what support and resistance. And when you identify key levels of support and resistance, you drop down to your entry time frame. Some people enter on different time frames. I like the 15. So you drop down on your entry time frame, right? And you wait for price to respect that um, that what that support or resistance level that you identified on the higher time frame. And that's just what happened here. It's right at that level. It's right there, right? And we're starting to see what more bullish activity, right? We're starting to see on our MACD that the selling pressure is weakening. We're starting to see that on the MACD, the moving average line, we're at a low, which is where we need to be if we're buying, right? We're at a low and we have a nice little curve coming. What are we waiting on the MACD? We're waiting for the moving average line to disconnect from the MACD. Disconnect because that indicates the volume, right? That indicates the volume. Okay, so that's going to be it for now. Hopefully, you all have gotten some value out of this because I really gave you the keys, honestly. Now, is there more? It is more. I'm going to be real honest and real transparent with you. I have students who pay me for all of it, but I really, really, really did give you about 70% of it. Okay. But I have to respect those that are really, really true to this game and want the extra, and I'll give them more than what they are bargaining for. So all of that information will be inside the description of this video here. So what I want you to do is subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. I have individuals who they aren't my students. They never were my students, but they devour the information on the content that I provide here on YouTube, and it's making a difference in their trading. It's making a difference in their trading. So, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Okay. I certainly want to see you win. And most importantly, I want to see you begin to see the market in a very clear, simple, easy way. Because when you have that kind of clarity, you'll definitely start to see profits more. I'm not guaranteeing anything. Can't do that. But if you follow the rules and you're consistent and disciplined, you're going to win just like everybody else. So that's my feeling, that's my belief, and that's my truth. So with that being said, guys, subscribe to the channel, comment, like, all that great stuff, and I can't wait to see you on the next training video.